What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls Pregame, presented by Coors Light. I'm Peck, Bulls _ Peck. Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports.
The title of the show, Katie.
Man in the middle.
Good.
Will _ Perdue 32.
She's like freaking out over there.
Already been getting a bit.
Trying to throw her a
Already
compliment.
giving her a
It's like,
tough time, Big Dave. Katie W out of control.
We
I
were
have
being
too
very
much
nice and
going
she
on.
just freaked out.
I have too much going on in the first 10 seconds of the show, and Wilk's trying to give me a compliment. I can't do it.
Oh, man.
Bulls Magic on deck tonight. Bulls at 2-2, Magic at 3-1. We are here in our CHGO headquarters just down the street from the Madhouse in the West Loop. Lots to get to tonight. We're going to take a look at what the Magic have done through their first 4 games. Paolo had himself a 50-burger. Jalen Suggs out to a great start after that rookie contract extension got signed. We'll also talk a little bit about the goodiness of Zach LaVine that we talked about on yesterday's show and how some of his teammates have been helping to impact that. But, gentlemen, because we have to let's get it out of the way, we do have some injury report stuff to deal with for tonight's game.
Sure.
First of all, for the Magic, Isaac has been nursing a hip injury. He has been given the green light tonight.
Ooh.
Franz Wagner has been dealing with an illness. He has been given the green light tonight.
Ooh.
Goga Batazde with a strained foot remains out. So your Magic starting 5 are Suggs, KCP, their big free agency signing this past summer, Franz Wagner, Paolo, and our old friend Wendell Carter Jr.
Take it personal.
When it comes to the Bulls injury report, Jalen Smith, good news there, tweaked his ankle in that game Monday night, was on the injury report as a question mark. He is active tonight. Lonzo Ball, however, sprained his wrist in their game on Monday and is out. The team released that he will be reevaluated in 10 days. The Bulls have 5 games through the next 10 days, so he will miss the next 5 at least. Hopefully not much more than that. But our Will-to-Go Gottlieb heard from Lonzo at this morning's shoot-around explaining exactly what the injury was, how it happened. Katie, if you will.
Obvious first question is, when did it happen?
It was the first quarter. I went for a steal, missed it, and ended up breaking my fall, and apparently I sprained my wrist.
You were obviously able to keep playing through it. When did it kind of flare up on you? And
I felt it even at halftime. I wasn't shooting right, but just taped it up and kept playing. Didn't think it was going to be this bad, but hopefully I can get over it quickly.
What have they said in terms of your recovery, and what are you doing to treat it?
Basically just try to hold it still for 10 days, try to flush out all the swelling, and go from there. Can't really tell until the swelling gets out, but hopefully it's not too long.
It's kind of obviously bad timing on multiple levels, but part of it is we were just talking to you about how you and Josh played so well together in that first attempt together. You maybe hope to pick up that momentum once you guys get back.
For sure. Hopefully this is just a quick little stop and then get right back to it.
All right, that was Bulls guard Lonzo Ball at this morning's shoot-around. He was mentioning that, it's somewhere between a grade 1 and a grade 2 sprain. If he had tried to play through it, there was a risk that it could elevate to being a grade 3 sprain. They're being obviously very precautious. He's wearing a brace to try and immobilize it over these next 10 days to get some of the swelling down. Not ideal, but as people in the comments are saying, hey, at least it's, we didn't hear the word knee anywhere in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. And actually, I believe it happened on that play where the Bulls, whose transition defense has been a work in progress so far, he was trying to get back and chase down a fast break opportunity in that game in the first quarter of Monday night's game, and kind of fell backwards, fell into the baseline, landed awkwardly on it. And to his credit, even got up and tried to get a closeout contest for the corner 3 as that play continued.
He really did.
Not great, but let's all kind of cross our fingers and hope for the best, I guess, when it comes to Lonzo.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before the season. We said any kind of injury, no matter how big or small that is going to happen, sit down for anybody, because there's so many people who need to play on his team. and so many people who, you don't want to mess up a situation and your good thing going as you have it right now. But still, this guy especially, have a seat. It's okay. I like the fact that he said he got up, he taped it up. Like you said, I remember him jumping and leaping, trying to block that three, definitely, which is also bodes well for the knee as well. So that's great. But the fact it went from 1 to 2, maybe it's a 3 kind of thing, it's like, damn. But at the same time, I'm not too concerned about it, Will. But I'm glad that he's taking a little time off, and now we'll get to see other guys in that same situation, in that same role, I should say.
Yeah, again, we're talking about a season of development, right?
Yes.
And we know even a 80% Lonzo Ball, we know who he is. So we really, all we're concerned about is health, first and foremost, right? So regardless of the injury, I don't care if he's got a headache. Take the night off.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because
what if it's a migraine, though, Will?
Oh, 2 games.
They need to go to Cancun and get rid of that. But as you said, there's so much depth on this team in the guard position.
Yeah.
It's like today I went to shoot around and I was watching Javon Carter. I mean, he must have hit 18, 19 threes in a row. Duarte was on the other end. These guys are getting in their extra work. He was, I mean, his shot is so effortless. And I know a lot of people look at him as a throw-in, and, we got to get something back in the DeMar trade.
Talking about Duarte, yes.
Yeah. But I think these guys, if they didn't have so many guards, they could be playing on this team.
Sure.
And they obviously could be playing on other teams and helping them. So we have so much depth at guard, there's no need for Lonzo to push himself through this.
Exactly.
This is – listen, we don't know what Lonzo's role is in the future, but this is more about him getting through 82 games and see where he stands, see how his body responds, and see if he can continue to play in this league.
Yeah.
The downside, while also trying to remain optimistic that, hey, he'll be reevaluated in 10 days, hopefully the sprain goes away, and he'll be back out there soon, is seeing what Lonzo and also Josh Giddey, in very similar ways, have done to open up Zach LaVine's offensive game through these first 4. When Zach is averaging 26 a game, he's shooting very efficiently, and he is finding those opportunities to be a off-ball threat, something that we have not seen nearly enough of in Zach LaVine's Bulls career.
Yeah.
He handles the ball too much. He turns the ball over too much. When you have guys with court vision and high basketball IQs out there alongside Zach, like Lonzo and Giddey then you see these opportunities where Zach can be more of a roaming Steph and or Klay Thompson kind of player who can give the ball up to his teammates and entrust that he will get that ball back if he finds himself open somewhere around the perimeter.
So first of all, how many dribbles did Klay Thompson have in that Bulls game?
11.
Oh, God.
11
the one where he dropped like 60 points on us or whatever?
Yeah.
He definitely had a 60-point game with 11 dribbles in 3 quarters. I remember that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So if I'm the Bulls, I'm basically just cutting as much Golden State Warriors Klay Thompson tape as possible and trying to get Zach to understand it's okay to play like this.
Yeah.
Especially with the guys that you have that can facilitate the ball. Zoe, Giddey, Kobe, Io, Vooch, all these guys are willing passers.
Yes.
And at times, we need you to attack on the dribble, but the wasted dribbles and their wasted, lack of movement that Zach does sometimes, I don't know if he's trying to convince himself, if he's trying to convince others, hey, look, I can handle the ball. He just has struggled at times. So try to minimize the amount of, times that you put the ball on the deck. Pass and cut.
Yeah.
Because as I talked about, the very first time I went over to the Advocate Center and watched Zach work out, if you watch him during a game, he floats. He glides.
Yes.
He's effortless.
Yes.
But let's take advantage of that. Don't slow yourself down by putting the ball on the deck. And some of that, quite honestly, lies on Billy to change up the offense, to put him in a position to be constantly moving without the basketball.
Absolutely right. Zach needs to get back to getting those 6 easy points a game that he was getting. And you saw him in these first 4 games kind of getting that, which is why I think you're seeing the Zach LaVine you're seeing. Because once any shooter sees the ball go through the net, I don't care how, but as long as they see it go through the net, it makes their life a little bit easier when they have to take those tough shots. And we saw Zach do that in the Memphis game. getting that amazing pass from Giddey from out of bounds.
Whew.
I think that kind of goes into the tough baseline three that he made late in the game when the ball was moving around and he just hit that three. Or when he's just standing, he hits you with the crossover and the step back three.
Yeah.
Like those things start to look effortless for him, and you don't see him forcing. You don't see him saying, I got to go do this. I got to go do this. No, it comes smoother. So get him his easy 6-8 points a game that he can get because he's not getting to the foul line. So as long as he's got to get 6 points somewhere. So allow it to be back cuts, dunks, alley-oops, stuff like that.
Our guy Clem in the comments real quick just said Zach has 7 turnover games already. It shouldn't be hard to make him understand. He's not the main ball handler. He's the main finisher.
They don't call people hard-headed for no reason.
I mean,
it's just what it is.
You're not kidding. So Zach, I believe, did the post-game sideline hit after their win against the Grizzlies on Monday. And Will, you wanted to circle back to that because you thought it was an interesting commentary from Zach about what he's been doing so far. Katie?
Zach, you guys fall down by 20 points early as you and Lonzo celebrate. You guys,
I miss my boy Lonzo, man. I miss my dog Lonzo.
Yeah, you guys miss fall down by 20 early. You make a franchise record 25 three-pointers. Yeah. What does this win do for you guys?
It was big. We knew how fast they played. Obviously, with Ja out, they don't still go out there and compete, and guys don't step up. They hit us in the mouth early on, but we came back in the second half. Guys stuck with it, played aggressive, and our shots started falling.
Video courtesy of our friends over there at CHSN. Shout out to them. Playing fast. And Zach misses Lonzo. I think all of that is pretty clear to understand, Will.
Yeah. And that's because Lonzo's going to be out. That's where he's got to basically develop that relationship with Josh Giddey.
Yep.
Because, Giddey, as you saw, is the one guy that has that court vision that Zach needs. Okay? But that being said, the main reason why I wanted to play that piece is that when the schedule first came out, this was the game right here tonight that I really wanted to see and was anxious to see. Yeah, they're, obviously, okay, it's you play against Milwaukee and you kind of get an idea where you are. Then OKC comes back, but the second game of a back-to-back and the way you're trying to play, it's just you're set up for failure. Memphis, I loved what Zach said about they got hit in the mouth, and they responded. What we've seen in the past is this team not be able to respond from getting hit in the mouth.
Correct.
And if there's a team that's going to come out and hit you in the mouth, I mean, this Orlando team, they're like the boxer when they make the bell. Ding, the guy that sprints out of the corner and tries to throw a bunch of haymakers.
If I recall, 2 early season contests against these Orlando Magic last season, the Bulls were down 20 or close to 20 in the first quarter in both of those games.
Yeah. And Wendell was going crazy.
Yeah, but this is a team that used to be behind you.
Yes.
And this is now a team through the draft that is ahead of you. And I always talk about they're on the border of confidence and arrogance, and they have a tendency to dip into arrogance a lot when they play.
It's a bar.
They love to take it to you. They love to attack you. It's the old like the movies. They tell you what they're going to do before they do it, and they dare you to try to stop them. And then when you can't, they talk trash. They even talk so much trash. They talk trash to your bench while they're shooting free throws in front of your bench. But that's just the attitude of this team, and this is how they play. So the Bulls know this. So I want to see, A, are they prepared? And B, do they land the first punch, or do they get a standing 8 count? And much like in the Memphis game, do they find a way to come back and win?
What do you think is better for them, for how the Bulls should come out tonight?
Well, because of how they want to play, and this is where they actually, I think, won the game against Memphis. I thought Memphis got tired, quite honestly.
All
right? And because of the style of which they play, they took Edey out of the game.
They did.
Memphis had no choice but to take him out of the game. He basically disappeared in that second half, and they brought him in for that last play to try to get a rebound. But outside of that, he was ineffective. I'm not saying you can do that against a younger Magic team, but this is, I remember when the day that Greg Popovich fired Bob Hill.
Okay.
Right? Before that game, we had to go to shoot around, and Pop gets on the bus and he goes, hey guys, unfortunately, we had to get rid of Bob. I understand David's hurt, Chuck's hurt, Sean's hurt. He went down the list, but that doesn't mean the culture can be what it is. No excuses. Had to let him go. We get over to the arena, and he goes, this is what we're doing. We're basically going to run 5 plays tonight. And that's as big as the playbook is going to be until we can run all 5 plays perfectly. And then we'll put in a 6th and a 7th. But he said, we're going to approach every single game. We don't give a you-know-what about our opponent. Our goal is to develop a culture, a style of play, and play to a certain way and force the opponents to play to our pace, in this case, the Bulls. It doesn't matter who you're playing. I mean, the Celtics are on the schedule at the end of the week. You got the Knicks coming up. At the end of the day, you're trying to develop a specific style of play that's very difficult to do over 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you can do it, as they've done now in both their wins, and take care of the basketball, you really give yourself a good chance to win.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really enjoying this, because they're already better. We knew they were talented, but they were already playing better than we thought.
Yes, absolutely.
So then you're like, I wonder what they're going to do when this team starts to figure it out and win games.
Yo, that's my new favorite voice, Will. Do that voice all the time.
Look, and seeing if they can play at that level of pace again. We've seen them try with varying degrees of success through these first 4 games, and certainly in their 2 wins, they play fast. And I think you're right. Like, they kept running when the Grizzlies got tired on Monday, and that's how the Bulls got themselves back into that game. Will the Bulls through 4 games lead the NBA in pace at 108.6 when you're talking about possessions per 48.
That's wild.
The Magic, like the Bulls, have seen a huge jump in their 3-point attempt rate compared to last season, but they're still playing at a slower pace. They are middle of the pack in pace, 14th at just 99.5 possessions per 48. So can the Bulls set that tone and make Orlando play a faster pace and tire them out? Because the other thing Orlando does really well is when they want to slow the game down and get to the free throw line.
Bow.
Yeah, but that's where could be an issue, because I'm glad you brought that up.
Me too.
Orlando is averaging 30 free throws attempts a game. That tells you how physical they play.
Yep.
They basically put their head down and they look to attack you. They look to attack your body. They look to attack the rim. And this is a sign to me that this is a team, when they struggle, they know where to get their points from.
Right. Yeah. They have the 4th highest free throw attempt rate thus far in the NBA this season, trailing only Atlanta, Philly, and Milwaukee. And look, it's sort of like, what do you want to try and take away if you're Billy Donovan defensively tonight? Because you're going to have your hands full with Paolo. Suggs is a frisky little demon. We'll get to them. Franz Wagner back in action tonight. He's torched the Bulls a number of times in his young NBA career. Do you try and take away the threes because, Orlando's getting up more shots and they're middling efficiency-wise? Or do you try to say, hey, let's make Paolo beat us at the free throw line? Because Paolo and the Magic are getting to the free throw line a ton, but Paolo specifically, like, that's the one weakness to his offensive game right now. I think he shot 22 free throws in his 50-point game the other night, and he did, to his credit, hit 15 of them.
Yeah.
But in their game before that, he got to the free throw line 13 or 14 times and only made like 6 of them.
Yeah.
So is that what you want to do? Just like, hey, we've got a deep roster. Everybody use as many fouls as you need tonight. Make them beat us at the free throw line?
I think with Paolo, I'll say yes, because Paolo is kind of in a Giannis realm right now as far as free throw shooting and dominance. So if he's dominating and he's very hard to stop, going to be a difficult matchup for Patrick Williams or anybody that's guarding him one-on-one. He's the guy that you got to pencil in for 30 points and 10 rebounds. So he's going to get a lot of that, posting up, putting, like you said, putting your head in the chest on some guys out there and attacking them. So the only thing you can do, because he's not going to be at the 3-point line, what can you do? Foul him. And you put him at the free throw line and you make him step up and make those shots. If he makes those shots, kudos to him. He made those shots. If he doesn't, you get those rebounds and you try to start your transition. But Paolo has just been a nightmare, for anybody that's getting him out there. Like, he just dropped 50, and to do it with no 3-point shots like that, that's some Giannis stuff. You're a very, very scary player.
The interesting thing is, reason why he scored 50 is because he's really, really good.
Yeah.
But Indiana basically tried to guard him straight up.
Yeah.
They didn't send doubles.
Always send doubles.
Went to lunch today with Jeff Turner. We played together at Vanderbilt. That's not a flex. I mean, we're friends.
How you know flex ain't having a friend that you played with? That's a flex.
It's just he's just a friend.
You know, Jeff
Purdue could have just said like, yeah, so I had lunch with John Smith today. I'd be like, flex.
I'll be like, flex. Yeah, he's right.
So Jeffrey Dahmer stopped by.
Oh, whoa. Halloween edition.
That's the opposite of a flex.
Purdue.
But he was talking about, he said, at the moment, this kid's just getting this on athletic ability.
Yeah.
He says he really doesn't truly, he understands and he's figuring it out. But he says it's not like he sees things 2 steps ahead of. This is just how good he is athletically.
Yeah.
Wait till he figures things out and then identifies where the double team is coming from. And
scary.
he just said this is scary. But what you now have is a generational player within that organization.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a team now that you're going to have to deal with year after year after year. So you're going to have to figure it out. So this game in itself, I mentioned it one time before, this isn't just about the players. What are they doing defensively? Are they going to send a double?
Mm-hmm.
Who's actually guarding him? You assume it's P. Will.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we talked about this in the Milwaukee game. P. Will actually had a good night defensively.
Mm-hmm.
He did exactly like you talked about. Prevent him from getting into the paint, force him to shoot the mid-range, and if he's shooting those, you got to give him something.
Yeah.
And if he's knocking them down, he's knocking them down. Then that's the responsibility of Billy to change their defense and then maybe start to double to take the ball out of his hands.
Correct.
And force, both Wagners to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Can Wendell consistently knock down the mid-range shot, or can they get enough offensive rebounds to beat you for second chance points?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things you can do, but that's why I was so excited about this game. They've had a day off.
Mm-hmm. It's
not the second game of a back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
So, mentally and physically they should be somewhat fresh. I understand it's the 4th game in 6 nights.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But this is the NBA.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen tonight? I'm anxious to find out.
Yeah, and another thing, you're dealing with a team that usually kicks your ass, not just beats you, but whoops your ass.
Bulls have lost the Magic the last 5 times these teams have faced one another.
Yeah, but let's just be honest. They punked them many times.
That's what I mean. That's my point. I'm saying not just beating them, but whipping your ass. Those are 2 different kinds of ass.
And then they told you about it as you were getting your ass.
That's even worse. You know what I'm saying? That is the worst kind to do it. But that is exactly how they've been doing it to the Bulls, man. They take it. It feels like they take those things personally when they play the Chicago Bulls. I think Wendell has something to do with that as well. But they take it very personally when they come up in here in the UC.
This is true. You know what our wonderful producer Katie takes personally is when y'all don't hit the like button enough times.
This is true.
Hit the like button.
What the hell?
Shout out everybody joining us
I
for
see
pregame
all
on
these
YouTube
viewers.
tonight.
I can see the numbers. Let's go.
She knows numbers, ladies and gentlemen.
Letters are tricky, but numbers, Katie knows.
That's right. Claw Bitter.
Number 1 fan. There we go. Never thought I'd see that in a pregame show.
Stick around, Will.
Speaking of numbers, let's take a look at these numbers for Paolo Banchero, the Orlando All-Star out of the gate this season. Not only what he's been doing through their first 4 games, but what he did specifically to the Pacers on Monday night, as Purdue mentioned. Mm-hmm. That 50-burger was pretty darn efficient.
Yeah,
16 of 26 from the field, 15 of 22 at the line, and flirting with a triple-double, grabbing 13 boards and 9 dimes. I mean, like you said, like they just let Paolo get his, and when you let Paolo get his, that's what happens. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious to see how Patrick Williams and whoever else has the unenviable task fares against that guy tonight.
It's going to be a problem. Like, the dude is skilled, man. And like Will said, he hasn't even really tapped into what he really is and what he really can be, because he is somebody who is approaching that level of minimum weaknesses. And the ones that are glaring, he can fix. 3-point shooting, you can take care of that. Free throw shooting, you can take care of that. All that other stuff, he's pretty much got that. He just has to tap into it. And once he taps into that, then we're talking those assist numbers getting even more ridiculous, Then we're talking that efficiency getting even more ridiculous, and how easy he's about to make life for the rest of his teammates out there, man. So he's going to be a load to deal with, man. He is a scary ball player.
The one that, speaking of the Magic whooping up the Bulls a lot recently and letting them know about it, you know who loves talking crap to the Bulls? Because it's Jalen Suggs.
Yes.
Man. And kudos as we were discussing on one of our shows in the last couple of weeks, whenever that extension deadline was, when we were discussing Josh Giddey not getting a rookie extension from the Bulls, he's going to go out and have to prove it, go back to the negotiating table in the spring. Suggs got his 5 years, $150 million guaranteed for Jalen Suggs to stay with Orlando. We're talking about a guy who made all defensive team already in his young NBA career last season. He finished 10th in Defensive Player of the Year voting. And you look at what he's done through his first 4 games this season, nearly 17 a game on incredible shooting splits, 45% from the three-point line for Suggs so far, and that's on nearly 8 attempts a game. Watch out, Bulls.
Yeah.
And of note, speaking of, like, it always seems like there are some players who just, for whatever reason, play the Bulls better than they play other teams.
He's one.
Suggs is on that list.
Yes, he is.
When you go and look at his season splits from last season, compared to his season stats across the board in 23-24, points, rebounds, assists, steals, three-point percentage, and his usage percentage are all higher in his games against the Bulls last season compared to his numbers across the board last season.
The one game I remember.
What did they do to Jalen Suggs?
The thing I remember immediately about Jalen Suggs is the game winner he hit against the Bulls.
Oh, God.
Like, I remember that clearly when he hit that. That dude plays the Bulls very, very tough, especially in the fourth quarter. And I've always liked that about Suggs is, you know, he'll battle you, but when that fourth quarter comes, he wants the ball. Like, he was like, no, bring me the ball. I'm taking the shot, and I'm hitting the shot. He really believes that. This is going back to his college days because he was like that in college as well. But that dude is a baller, man, and he is a guy that will set the culture and the tone on your team about how you're supposed to play because he'll do it with his mouth and he'll do it with his skill defensively and with the three-point shooting that he also does, man. So he's going to be a problem, too, for whatever guard he's going to be on tonight also, Will.
You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of the dog that wears the shot collar.
Okay.
And then walks over and sticks his neck into the force field and just and then just goes, is that all you got?
Yo.
You might want to turn that up.
Yo, man. Will's done some things.
You were talking about Jeffrey Dahmer like 10 minutes ago, and now you're talking about this. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Will Perdue's lived. He's
it's
lived.
Halloween.
Yeah, it was Halloween. Yes.
You got to remember that all happened when I was playing.
Yeah.
And where he worked, that chocolate factory was right next to where the Bucks used to play.
That's a joke right there. I'm not even going to touch it. I'm not even going to touch it. It's right there. I'm going to leave it alone.
Don't do it. Are you referring to Jalen Suggs saying he's balding? Being bald before your prime is crazy? You know who else was bald before their prime?
Michael Jordan.
Also, like LeBron.
Clyde Drexler, LeBron.
Remember the like steadily going back and back and back LeBron headband
back,
from the middle years of his career?
And then return.
And then all of a sudden LeBron had this hairline that was like down here. Everyone's like, wait. What did we just see?
Hey, man, long as he balling, bro. Like Kobe, too. Kobe was on that list.
That's true.
But as long as he's balling, I don't think he cares, man. I don't think he matters. I think he wears it now like as a badge of honor, like Tibbs. That's why I told you I love Tibbs so much.
That little tough Tibbs keeps
he ain't
up
giving
there.
up, man. I love it, dog. Tibbs is like, whatever. Stay up.
Yeah, didn't the Bulls have the player that was the most guilty for the fake hairline?
Oh, yeah. Chucky Brew.
Yeah.
Carlos Boozer, man.
Chucky Brew.
That
Chucky
just
Brew.
painted on hair. Yeah. Chucky Brew. So shout out to my buddy Trev. When he and I lived out in LA together, we watched every Bulls and every Hawks game out there.
Okay.
His favorite thing was when Boozer would get an and one. He would yell out Chucky Brew with a 3-point stew.
Okay. I dig it.
But yeah, the painted on hair.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime somebody in the NBA shows up with a questionable hairdo or is that hair real? Is it always makes its way back to NBA Twitter.
It does.
Because man, that was shiny.
It was.
So that's the new definition of OG.
What was there anyone you ever recall like showing up to practice or shoot around or a game one night, Will, and being like, yo, what did you do? Because they made some attempt to make their hair look different,
and by that he means when Scottie Pippen cut all his hair off.
Oh yeah, he did not look good, bald. No. You know, the one guy we had to do that was a problem was Michael Cage.
Michael, with the curl,
with the Jerry curl.
Ooh, that thing was wet.
Yep,
dripping.
We played a game and somehow a ball went off his head and we had to take that ball out of play. True story, man.
Used the whole case of Soul Glow on that one.
Man, Michael K's, well, that S-curl was official. He wasn't playing, dog.
Well, and then unfortunately for him, then everybody talked about that was his family and coming to America.
Yeah.
When they got off the couch. Oh.
Did you ever see the second one of those that came out many years later? Coming to America.
No.
Coming to America?
I did not. No.
Actually, I thought it was
not
pretty solid.
bad. Yeah. I didn't hate it.
You get Wesley Snipes in there?
Yeah.
It's a fun cast.
Yeah.
We have reached the
Amazon
7 o'clock hour in Chicago. That means ball tip-off is right around the corner. We will be back here for live postgame immediately following the conclusion of Bulls Magic.
Real quick, Katie, there was someone in the comments who said they were going to their first game.
No, they had a friend.
They had a friend
to their
going?
first game.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
The French guy.
Hey,
French ball team, my guy,
Clem?
dog. Hey, DM me, man. Shout out because your boy's going to be in the house. Shout out. DM me. Hit me up. Tell your boy to come holler at me.
Big Dave and Perdue are going to go head over to the UC tonight for a while and see what's going on. I'm going to hold down the fort here and solidarity.
Solo there.
Make sure you follow our guy, Will the Goat Gottlieb.
That's when he truly succeeds.
Will_Gottlieb. For Goat, Katie, Perdue, Big Dave, Peck, saying thanks for tuning into pregame. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't done it yet. We'll see y'all for postgame. Enjoy the game. See you. Be good.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.